Hi, I'm Mayor Farrah N, and for today's chat with the mayor, we're going to be talking about roundabouts with Sergeant Gales from IPD and Mike Davis, our active transportation administrator. Thank you so much, Sergeant Gales and Mike, for coming out here today. We're going to be talking about roundabouts. So we have quite a few in the city, and we've also noticed that some people need a little help guiding through the roundabout. So today we're going to talk about some safety issues, why roundabouts are important. So let's start with safety. What are you seeing when you see traffic flowing through the roundabouts?
So roundabouts have fewer points of conflict than a normal traditional intersection that we're used to. Traffic is flowing in the same direction, and we see fewer accidents, and when accidents do occur, they're usually less significant, which means that they result in fewer injuries or more minor injuries.
So in an intersection like this, people actually slow down to go into the roundabout. Is that why we see either less accidents, or then if there is an accident, the damage is a lot less?
Yes, there's several reasons. So they're slowing down before they enter the roundabout, ideally. And then when they enter the roundabout, they're going in the same direction as the other cars. And then when you look at bicyclists and pedestrians, the way that the roundabouts are designed is there's fewer areas where those pedestrians and bicyclists are having to cross in front of other vehicles, which results in fewer accidents.
And do you have any ideas on how we can make traveling through a roundabout more safer?
Absolutely, because a lot of people are unfamiliar with roundabouts and it makes them uncomfortable when they're learning to drive through them. Ideally, they are planning their turn and what lane they're going to be in before they enter the roundabout, so that they don't enter and then get stuck or feel like they need to change lanes halfway through. Please pay attention to the signs as you're approaching the roundabout for which direction they're going to be going in and which lane they need to be in. Also, ideally, people are slowing down but not coming to a complete stop unless they have to yield to other traffic that's already in the roundabout.
And that's really important, is if there's already a car within the roundabout, all the other cars coming in need to yield to that car.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And Mike, I'm going to convert over to you. Why do we even have roundabouts?
I know for a lot of folks, roundabouts can be confusing, and they're newer to the U.S. They've been in other parts of the world for quite a few years, and there's many benefits. One is actually traffic flow. Because there are not signals or stop signs, the traffic keeps moving. And it's found that it really reduces congestion and traffic idle times by 60 to 90%. So it actually keeps the flow going. And as that occurs, it actually reduces greenhouse gas emissions from the vehicles because they're not just sitting and idling for minutes. So it actually helps with your fuel costs, which are high today, reduces pollution, keeps the flow going, and then the safety issue is huge.
So with the roundabouts that we have in our city, and we have quite a few in different areas, do you see us expanding those? Would that be beneficial?
Some locations don't really work because you do need a larger footprint, but where we can, it really is beneficial. And so we are looking at the city at possible locations. In newer parts of the city like this, it's been easier to add, but there may be others in the future coming.
And so as we're moving around with traffic and making sure people are getting to where they need to go, where do you see opportunities for improvement?
I think for the roundabouts particularly, I think it's getting used to it for folks. And as Officer Gales said, Sergeant Gales, check the signage, but also there's striping. At this intersection, you can see there's striping on the road itself. And so before you get to the roundabout, you can see which lane you should be in. Normally, if you're going to be making a left, you're going to be in the left lane if there's two. If you're making a right, you're going to be in the right. Sometimes you're doing a U-turn. And if you happen to miss it, you can just go around the circle again until you get off on the right.
That's a great point, because a lot of times I've seen people will change lanes within the roundabout, and that should not happen.
No, you really should be in the right lane before If you happen to get in the wrong lane and you're in it, just be aware of those around you like any lane change. If you have to get to the right or do a U-turn and try it again.
Now, is there anything else that you'd like to share to help our community use the roundabouts better?
We talked a little bit about cars, but for bicyclists you have two options. In many cases you will go through just as you would a car. So also slow down. If there's a crosswalk, watch out for pedestrians. Don't enter the roundabout until you look to your left. As people are coming from your left, wait till there's a gap and enter then. Take the middle of the lane and then make sure you're in the right lane and follow like a car around. One nice thing for bicyclists, because the speeds are much slower, you can navigate it like a car.
And the same thing with pedestrians as they're crossing the two streets, just making sure that they understand that the cars are not stopping. So you want to make sure that it's a clear path for you to move forward.
Absolutely, and I always, for pedestrians, whenever you're going into a crosswalk, obviously look both ways, and if you can, get the eye of a driver before you enter the crosswalk. And that's even easier on a roundabout because, again, the speeds are much slower.
Sergeant Gill, anything from your end?
So one important thing to remember is that if you encounter an emergency vehicle which is going with lights and siren through the roundabout, do not stop in the roundabout. Please continue through and stop after you have exited the roundabout. We're just excited to see more roundabouts coming up in the city. There's about 4,000 roundabouts in the United States right now, and we have 13 in the city of Irvine, and that number is growing. So as that number grows, we're hoping to see a reduction in our traffic collisions and an increase in public safety.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much. This was really informative.